Is your city's hunger down being lifted soon and you're not really sure how to socialize? If that's something you want to learn how to do, stay tuned. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Alyssa Cotten. For those who are new, I really hope that you'll subscribe. I do videos out every Monday on mental health, self-help, and motivation. And those who are returning, I'm so grateful that you are still here and taking me on this journey of self-help and self-discovery. So in today's video, we're going to talk about 5 kind of tips or ways to kind of manage this new socialization post-quarantine. Lots of cities are lifting their hunger down and socialization is starting to start again. And you might be wondering, I'm not ready to socialize, or I loved having an excuse of, sorry, quarantine, can't see you. And now that the hunger down is being lifted, there's a lot of hesitation and a lot of ambivalence of, how do I even socialize? Do I still have my social skills? How do I interact? What's too soon to interact? Where can we interact? So in this video, you're going to learn 5 new ways on how to interact and how to be social in this new norm post-quarantine. So let's get started. So tip number 1 is make it weird. And what I mean by that is add humor. You're going to be uncomfortable. The other people are going to be uncomfortable. You might not have seen them in a few months. You might have only been able to see them on, FaceTime, Zoom, the telephone. You might not have been able to see these people physically in a really long time. And it's going to be weird. It's going to be awkward. You're going to say, did I say too much? Did I just make a fool of myself? Why did I say that? You're going to question your headspace. You're going to question, what am I even saying? What does it make sense? Am I still funny? Am I still charming? Am I still able to carry a room? You're going to have so many questions, and I'm asking you just to make it weird. Embrace the weird. Say, this is awkward for me. This is awkward for you. Acknowledge that it's going to be weird for a while because this is going to be a new normal, and there's going to be a lot of ambivalence and a lot of hesitation on getting back into our groove and getting back into our comfort zone. So adding humor, calling it out, saying, is this weird for you? Because it's weird for me. You might be doing a social distancing barbecue and everyone's 6 feet apart in the backyard, and you might have one person who comes in and tries to hug you and you're like, whoa, no hugs yet. And just make it weird, add a joke, add some humor, break the ice, and just embrace that everyone is feeling awkward, everyone's feeling uncomfortable. So just play it up. Tip number 2 is ask your friends about their boundaries. Some might not be comfortable to engage in social interaction yet. They might be living with a vulnerable population, or they might not feel that it's safe to go out and socialize yet. So respect people's boundaries. There might be a lot of declines for invites or social interactions. Don't take it personal, and don't take it personal if you're not ready to get out there. Try to push your comfort zone, see what happens, but also ultimately respect your own boundaries. And by respecting your boundaries, you can start to go slow and gradually increase to what feels more comfortable for you. So before you interact with people, maybe you call them or you text them and you say, hey, what are your boundaries? Am I allowed to do the elbow bump? Am I allowed to give you a hug? Are we allowed to hang out inside, or do you want us to hang out outside? What kind of interactions are okay? And it's gonna feel weird that I have to ask my friends and family what their boundaries are about hanging inside or hanging outside, but until we figure out how to keep each other safe long term, it's gonna be really important that we respect each other's boundaries and we check in about what are your boundaries around that. So it's going to be important before you start to socialize. Ask yourself, what are your own personal boundaries? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to give hugs? Are you not willing to give hugs? Are you able to hang out inside? Are you wanting to stay to only outside events? So asking yourself, what is kind of that boundaries and that new kind of way as you're gradually increasing your socialization. Tip number 3 is recognizing that touch is going to be different, and consensual touch, of course. So normally you're used to giving people hugs or kisses on the cheeks or high fives or any kind of embracing when you first greet someone, and that's going to be different. It's going to be a total shift, and acknowledging that it's going to be different for a while until we start to get more information that's going to allow us to recognize it's safe to embrace hugs, it's safe to give high fives, it's safe to kiss each other on the cheek, and recognizing what that looks like and how to ease in. And again, going back to number one, making it weird, ask yourself, hey, what's your boundaries? What's your thoughts on touch? And just recognizing that we as humans need touch and we crave touch, but it's also very important that we respect that boundary as we are getting out of this post-quarantine hunker down. Tip number 4 is recognizing that socializing is going to feel different. It might actually start to feel like more anxiety is around socializing. You might start to have more fear around it. I know when I'm working with some of my clients, some of them they're nervous to even accept an invitation, let alone actually attend. There's a lot of fear of people, even people that we trust. There's just a lot of fear of, has this person been exposed? Have I been exposed? Am I harming someone else? Are they harming me? And there's going to be a lot of fear around it, and ease into it. There's no reason that you have to jump in to host a huge gathering. Maybe you start small. Maybe you start with one-on-one walks and you go outside, and if you don't feel comfortable standing close, you can stand 6 feet apart and start walking there. Or maybe you start by having a social gathering in your backyard, limiting the amount of people, and ask yourself, what do I feel comfortable with? Recognizing that socializing is going to be very different. It's not going to be as active as we used to be. It's not going to be as engaging as we used to be. And eventually we're going to get there. But at first, it's going to feel different, and it's going to feel weird, and it's going to be really important that you check in with your headspace throughout this entire journey of socialization, because what can happen is a lot of internal oh, I don't know how to socialize, or that was really awkward, or that was really uncomfortable, do they not like me? And we can start to spiral out of fear of wondering, do they like me still? Am I still part of this friend group? What's happening? And just remind yourself that everybody is going through this at the same time. No one is excluded from this new transition of socializing post-quarantine. Everyone's involved in it, and everyone's kind of on this journey. Tip number 4 is be gentle with your headspace. No matter what thoughts that come forward, no matter what experiences come forward, remind yourself, we've never been through this before, so this is all new. This is all uncharted territories, all new experiences, and it's going to be different. And what that means is we have to take extra time to be gentle with our headspace, lots of compassion, reminding ourselves no judgment, being curious, kind of like going with this cat theme of being curious like a cat, and just kind of exploring where our headspace is at, because it's going to be different and it's going to feel different, and you're going to start to question friendships. Does this person not like me anymore? Do they want me to be part of their friend group? And then you have to take a deep breath and remind yourself that every single person is going through this, and that can make us feel connected, that I'm not the only one that's struggling through this transition of socializing post-quarantine, that everybody in the world is experiencing this, and that we can use each other. Maybe afterwards you can text them and say, hey, it was so great to see you. If it felt awkward and weird, don't worry, that's just what's supposed to happen. And really try to normalize this experience, that it's going to be weird. There's going to be a lot of anxieties. There's going to be a lot of fear around it. Start small, make safe, smart choices, and start to slowly integrate back into socialization, because we are social creatures. We as humans, we need connection. We need to socialize. We need to hang out with people in order to survive. And this time of quarantine has been really hard on a lot of people, myself included, on this isolation and being kind of away from everyone. And so reminding yourself that everyone's on this journey with you. Embrace that you're not alone in doing this. So reach out, ask people for help. Say, hey, what's your game plan for socializing post-quarantine? What's your boundaries around it? And the more you talk about it, the more you normalize it, the more comfortable you're going to feel once you've done it. And you're going to be able to take that step back, reflect, and say, wow, that felt aligned, that felt connected, I didn't feel forced to anything. At any moment that you feel forced to hang out with someone, it's probably not a good idea, and you're probably not ready to start socializing. So those are 5 tips to kind of think about as your city's hunker down's being lifted, and restrictions are being lifted, and restaurants are opening, and some of our social arenas are opening again, and being mindful of what's it going to look like socializing post-quarantine. So comment below, what are some things that you plan to do as you reintegrate into society and start to socialize again? My name's Alyssa Cotten. I do videos on self-help, mental health, and motivation. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe. I do videos out every single Monday. Have a great day.